morning until now. Thank you that this is thy day, the Lord's day, where we can be separated from the world and to learn about thee, and to humble ourselves and worship thee, and be grateful for everything thou hast done for us. We thank thee for thy Son, the Lord Jesus Christ, whom thou hast sent from heaven to the earth, to the cross, to suffer and die there for our sins. He himself had been so much hurt and to save us from us. We thank thee, Heavenly Father, for all these things. Thank you for what this means to us. Help us prepare our minds at this hour that we may learn from them. We pray that thou help our brother who's coming, John Choi from North Korea, to help us to understand what is happening there. We ask all these things in Jesus' name for his sake. Amen. Amen. So we are going to sing now. Sing number 1. More about you. Are you ready? Please stand.
For thy Jesus, I want to go. For his grace, I want to show. For his saving mercy, for his love, who died from glory. For thy Jesus, I want to live. For his holy creation, Spirit of God, thy Trinity, showing of thy being. For thy Jesus is all good, loving with fire. Gaining breaking everything by peace, be on their way. For thy Jesus I feel good, rich in glory, all is thy own. For his
asked a friend to come and speak, just to introduce him. He was an interpreter here. Then I'll let you explain. For hearing people, Korean people. North Korea is a different side.
That's 2 hands.
2. But I saw him this morning, I grabbed him, so I only asked him this morning to come and speak. So be gentle with him, okay? I brought a mat, and I'll let him talk. Yeah. I've got a mat here if you want to. That's fine.
This is Jung Sik Choi from South Korea. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very, very glad that I shared pioneering work in South Korea. I worshipped here 2008 to 2010. I left here 2010 September. Just after marriage, my wife. She came to this country studying English literature. She used to work for Samsung company, very good, high salary, 80,000 pounds per year, average. But she stopped studying. She stopped work at Samsung, and she wanted to study English literature. When she came to this church in London, she recognized she's not born again. So she converted 2009 and baptized, and she also eventually met by the person, Mr. John Choi.
And it shows you.
Yeah. Right. So we have a good memory in this church, worship together. And also I converted 2007 when I was studying BA in Gloucester. Studying about mission things. I was growing a Presbyterian church. But I found out that myself as I reading Puritan books, particularly Jonathan Edwards' books, sinners in God's angry God's hand. I recognized that I wasn't truly born again. I didn't want to hear that. I wasn't not accepted by God. But I had to accept it because I never thought about my soul deeply as a sinner. Repent to Him and face alone. So 6 months struggle myself. Eventually, I could understand the beauty of Christ on the cross, what He had done for me. Become sinner instead of me. Had a penalty and a punishment instead of me. The meaning of a substitution. The wonderful and glorious love of God come onto my heart. And then I converted. At the same time, God called me as a pastor, looking after the sheep that Lord bringing into. So that was 2006 September or something like that. And then I finished my dissertation, BA. And when I was studying London ministry, I was here between 2008 and 2010. Some of you may know me. Yeah. So I'm very thankful that I'm here, standing before you, presenting my testimony and my work in South Korea. Very thankful. So we were very, very happy because we married together, and also God called us pioneering work in South Korea. What do you think in Korea waiting for us? My mom. Yeah.
You show them where you are.
Yeah, please.
Just so it gets in their mind where you are. Just where about
Korea is between China and Japan.
you hold that from here.
In our history, we will separate.
Hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
You're on the camera, so China, Japan, Korea, in the middle there.
We are separate north and south. Communism north, democracy south. I'm from south. Yeah. 13 hours by airplane. And 8 hours difference time. now 11 o'clock in the evening, actually at night, 11 o'clock p.m. Yeah. When I went back to Korea 2010 September, my father wanted me to go to big church because I studied abroad in the United Kingdom. He expected me to get good position and good money in big church. But I didn't want to. Just I wanted to follow the Lord's calling. My father began to push my wife rather than me. So my wife was feel pressure. When she was pregnancy 6 months, she was in 6-month pregnancy. She had an accident. Bathroom. She was going into bathroom with boiling water for washing because it's too cold. Because we are a very poor family. Month and a half she stayed. She's still very smart. So we decided to go out of my parents' house. We had to go to apartment where supported by government for low-income people. Until the time we wait about a year, we had to work as farmer in countryside. Because that area is a very, very cheap area. We were very poor at that time. So I was digging the ground for farming. So what should I think? What should I say on these things? I struggled whether God really called me or not. More than 30 times I struggled. Just give up or just press on to God's calling. That time, two friends of mine, you may have seen this Korean man, Tae-hee, and Hee-jin, they visited my house.
These two.
Yeah. Me and my wife. Where I stayed. Me, my wife, and Tae-hee. Yeah. But we just pressed on. So thankfully the Lord bringing 1 or 2 families into our house. So we worship together. And we also had Sunday school. Yeah. And also I translated the 1689 Confession of Faith. And some booklet and literature. So,
books from?
booklets. Yeah.
You translated, where are they from?
I think Master's some booklet.
From here?
Yeah. And tract is small things. Yeah. And also story about the Reformed Baptist, history of Reformed Baptist Church. So that was the first beginning of our family work. To keep our identity Reformed Baptist. But problem was, Presbyterian people didn't like us because we are Baptist. They are Presbyterian.
Let me just write down Presbyterian.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Oh, we have to explain.
Yes, yeah. Because it's a difficult word.
Yeah.
Right, how do you spell it?
Y, T, E, E, R, That's correct.
Can you just explain what that church
Yes,
is?
please. Yes, please.
Baptist church. Shrine here. Presbyterian church. Is Baptist. What's set up at Baptist church?
So they didn't like us. Same doctrine of grace they believe, but they believe in infant baptism, child baptism, but we rejected it. That is why they didn't like us. So we had a challenge. Churches around us. Most of the churches in Korea are Presbyterian churches. So they didn't like us. Sadly, people from our people persuaded to Presbyterian church, they left from us. So we had difficulties outwardly, inwardly. Outside Presbyterian church, inwardly, people persuaded into Presbyterian church. We felt very, very sad and just isolated. So we settled in Namyangju near to Seoul.
You have to write this one.
Yeah.
What's the date?
Good, good. Right? Yeah. This is the capital city, Seoul. Located like Manchester of this country. Yeah, I think it's northwest, not northwest, no, northwest, middle west,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Middle West.
Middle west, yeah. So we have a satellite cities, about 12. Satellite city. So 25% of our population, 10 million people live there. 25%, including satellite city and this province, 0.5% of population live. This province.
Half the
Yeah,
population.
yeah, 20,000. Many people live this area. So I settled all of this Nanyangju. 30 minutes from center.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you the name of that?
Yes, Namyangju. So
Say it again. Say it again.
Namyangju.
Let me see
Namyangju.
it. Let me see it.
Namyang. Correct. 100,000 people live this city, Namyangju. So we struggled outside and inside. So we prayed, Lord really, really called us. If you really called us, give me energy, give me braveness. Even though we are alone, no family, no friends around this city, Lord, give me your power. I began to go outside on the street for evangelism every day. The first day of evangelism, I went to climbing mountain on the top. I prayed like Caleb. 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 Good. Give me this town. Give me this area. I will serve you, the Lord. So every day I went to the outside street, evangelized. Nothing happened. I was very disappointed. But I met a family from Bangladesh on the street, bus stop. This lady with 2 children. This lady from Bangladesh. Daughter 8 years old, son 4 years old. When I spoke to her, she said that you are the first Korean who speak to me. I was surprised. They haven't been here, she said, 10 years. No Korean friends. Even children, no friends. She was in depression, no friends, not to do what, she doesn't know what to do. Daughter losing her sight, -12, -15. She did a special doctor university for her glasses. Bullied her. She felt very alone. All the time watching TV and smartphone at home. Never go out to meet friends because no friends. Second, the baby, he was fat because eaten chocolate and sweet junk foods. Mommy in depression didn't know how to educate and feed him. The family was so poor situation. Like me, when I was in this country, I had not many friends. English was difficult. I felt alone. So I understood them, how they felt lonely. Lord, give me the heart of compassion. Lord, give me how the Lord have mercy. The sinners are like me. So I invite her to our house. So my wife became first friend of this lady. My children became first children of them. But they are Muslim. So I invited the husband. Week later, husband came to check whether they are good people or not. So he came to our house. So I prepared the beef, nice food, but he rejected it because it's not halal. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Yeah. So I was upset, but I had it very nice because they are from God. I believed God bringing them to us. So I encourage, why don't you cook for us? We can enjoy your food. So he prepared. He became very happy and to prepare food, invited her twice. So I enjoyed food he prepared, then we became friends. Even now, we are become very good friends. So they are now open. So they come to church, not regularly yet, but they open. So the Lord give us first fruit of evangelism, which are Muslim family. Through them, we met more people.
They Muslims still now.
Wife is very nominal, open fully. So whenever I go, she asks me to pray. Husband becoming more and more open. So husband now starts. When he came to our house first, he bring the smartphone and click that Muslim prayer. He turning on Muslim prayer as we eating meal. But he stopped these things. He respect Christianity. He found out that we are very different from other creatures. So he began to open and open. Even he now asked me to pray. So before I pray, I read the Bible, short message. They are happy to listen. Wonderful. Thankfully, Lord, give us more and more people through them. And also, the Lord give more people through others whom I met through Bangladeshi people. Now we have 200 contacts. Not they are coming to church regularly, but we have 200 contacts. We invite our house. I sometimes visit their house. Whenever I visit and to pray for them, I have a short message and reading Bible, and I pray. So we have a 200 contacts through the Bangladeshi people. It was the first fruit of Bangladesh evangelism. So thankfully, we moved from house to building place. Thankfully. 40 seats we have in this building. 40.
That's not your flat, it's a building.
Building. Second floor. Yeah, second. Two weeks later, we moved in. This man came to knock the door by himself. He said that I want to worship here every Wednesday and Sunday evening. So I welcomed him come in, sit down. As we begin the conversation, he respond me with swearing. Oh. So I felt very upset. But I found out that he had a car accident in the past. He had a brain damage, front brain damaged, physically. One day, we had a 2 hours speaking. I listened, I heard 2 hours swearing. The Lord trained me to be humble, long suffering. Lord, teach me that this is the reason why I call you as pastor. So I began to worship together with him. He interestingly, wonderfully, amazingly stopped mouth, quietly listening to sermon very, very nicely. Some of the hymns he followed to sing. I recognized he had memory when he was attending church when he was a child. It's amazing. I felt from God. He controlling his soul. So I kept worship together and having some meal together. And shaking hand, bye-bye. No chance to talk. No chance to talk each other, conversations. Worshipping and the meal together, this is the wisdom of God. So we had the meal together, worship and fellowship. But he had one friend only because he troubled many people, because people around him didn't know he had a physical damage. People just didn't like him, speak sometimes angry and swearing, but actually he had a physical problem. I knew that. So he, my friend, neglected, ignored of this area. But he has only one friend. He is alcoholic, in depression, He never come out of his house. He doesn't want anybody around him know him where he lives. He wants to just be alone. Used to be a rich man, but he got bankruptcy, business bankruptcy, and the wife left, children left. He had ill with leg, he couldn't walk properly, so he just felt depression. So he moved to this poor area, sitting all the time at home, smoking and alcohol. So we promised to meet next weekend. So I came to his house, knocked the door, but he never opened the door. He never opened the door for 3 months. It was cold season. I was waiting out of his house. 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It like very cold. But I pressed on because I believed, Lord, bring him to us. 3 months later, as I was reading Bible and praying in devotion, the meeting place, chapel, he knocked the door. He said that, I have observed you for 3 months. Now I recognize and confirm that you are genuine pastor. I had a very bad memory of pastors. I never trusted in pastors, but now I recognize you are the true pastor. I want to support you, what he was saying. When you're worshiping with him on the meeting place, wife wanted to have a key from him to open her house. His wife.
That's his wife.
Yeah. Spanish person. Yeah. We were worshiping Sunday evening. But she wanted to come in, but she needed a key from him. So he called her to the chapel. She's Buddhist. She was Buddhist, strong Buddhist. So she wanted to immediately go out, but she couldn't because of grandchildren playing with my children. So she stayed for a while. We talked to each other. She began to cry. Her daughter divorced a few years ago. Yes, grandchildren, daughter children. The daughter divorced. That's why she's looking after grandchildren. Daughter is a nurse, but working very hard. But Saturday, Sunday, she needed to rest at home. She needed to bring them out of the house. She felt very difficult where to go. That's why she cried. Husband problems, problem with quarreling people around, and the daughter divorced, children neglected. She felt very hard. So we welcomed her children for Sunday school. So we began to start Sunday school with 2 children. They were very, very happy to be with us. At that time, my wife had a baby on the back. Can you see?
So she was teaching.
Yeah.
Teaching.
Yeah.
Baby on the back.
Yes. You can see that.
There. See the leg.
Impressive. Yeah. So Lord bringing His people into us. She is the oldest one, 85 years old. She was standing outside of the building.
New person.
Yeah, new person. She wanted to go to see husband in a hospital, but the daughter didn't come to her house. So she was just waiting. Anyone could help her to go to hospital. So I brought her my car to hospital, and I met husband. Look nice, okay. He was well enough. So I spoke about prodigal son. He attended the church several times, but all his life rejected God. As he heard prodigal son, the gospel, he felt very, very sorry. He was about to die. But I wanted to go back to my Father in heaven. He repented his sin, received the gospel. So we promised to meet again next Wednesday. But I realized after that he died next day in the morning, 3 o'clock. She began to testify people around the area about me, who kept his time before his death.
So she was telling everyone.
Yeah, about me. Because I was the last person who see him before his death. So I became very popular about this area. So more people into our contact. So one more story I will tell you that. Sunday morning, 2 ladies come to our meeting place through evangelism. She is a believer, but she is Buddhist. Her brother's wife, Christians, brought her. She is brother's wife. Her brother's wife.
Brother's wife.
Yeah, Buddhist. So she listened, same message, prodigal son. After service, she was like smiling face. She recognized that she needed Heavenly Father. She repented her sins and she received the gospel, Christ, by faith. So she became Christian. At the same time, she was listening to the preaching. She began to come every Lord's Day morning. But problem was, husband, strong Buddhist, become angry that wife not going out of the house every Lord's Day. So she felt very hot by persecution of her husband. So she could come Wednesday and Saturday, not to meeting place, but my house. So she came with her daughter. But eventually, the lady, the converted one, couldn't come. Until her death, 3 weeks ago. She went to the heaven peacefully 3 weeks ago.
Which one? Show her. Which one?
62 years old. She's 62 years old. Yeah. Yeah. Daughter is 39. The mother died. Mom died 3 weeks ago. Her desire was Christian way of a funeral. Husband rejected it. When the Lord is so pleased to save her, called her into heaven. So she began to come to our Wednesday, Saturday, my house. Bible study and prayer meeting at my house. Not meeting, which one? Daughter. Instead of a mother. Yeah. She changed a lot. Parents fight, quarrel many times. Never look after children in her life. sometimes they fight each other with stick, knife, very severely. She was not very happy with parents, angry all the time. But when she had spiritual thing in her heart, she began to change and change. Husband surprised. He wanted to check whether we are doing all right. Husband, this is me. Husband.
The woman that her mother's
been arguing, that's their daughter. And the man came.
That's the man. All right. Husband.
His daughter.
No, his wife.
Yeah.
His wife died.
her daughter.
That one.
62 years old, daughter.
That's the mother.
Daughter's husband.
Daughter's husband, yeah. She came to last August summer. She died 3 weeks ago. She came to us last September. Until mother is still alive at the time. But she couldn't come because of her husband's persecution. So daughter began to come to us, our house. We changed a lot. Husband wanted to check whether we are heretic or not. But also he settled, and they both are seeking their salvation. Husband used to go to church, not every week, big church, mega church, but he enjoyed worshiping with us, so that they now come to our place to worship together.
John, that's what.
The Lord is bringing His people who are ignored and neglected. I recognize that Lord called me not for just nice people, but who are in darkness, need spiritual food, who are thirsty, who are naked, who are in prison. Lord wants me to look after them, visit them, give them food and drink. We have a many young group of people now. This man is 29 years old. He called by God after his conversion 5 years ago as reading Bible. He was reading Bible, he was converted by God. And then he became also evangelist by the calling of God. He lived in very big city. He boldly come out on the streets, big boards with stick, written word substitution. Thousand people gathering around in the center, like Trafalgar Square. You push like that, and you walk around. Whoever interested, what is the mean? Substitution. He began to preach the gospel with explanation. The Lord died instead of us, punished instead of us, because God loved sinners to repent and faith in Christ. That kind of person he was a few years ago. He became Reformed Baptist through reading books of Ada Pink, Reformed Baptist pastor. So he became Reformed Baptist. The problem was he couldn't find any Reformed Baptist pastor. For 2 years he was looking for. Eventually he contacted me. He found out that he is the right person as my pastor. So he began to come to worship together. This young couple are going to be married through him. But this is his wife. The lady used to be in heretics. The wife. But she was evangelist of the heretic. But she wasn't not as brave as him. So she was very interested in him, where he is coming from, which denomination will come from. He approached him. Soon he recognized she is heretic. So he began to preach her. She ran away. Next day she came to again, asked where you come from. I come from Lord himself. And he began to preach to her. She converted through him. So she came out of the heretic, began to hear the spiritual things from him, and then they get close and then married. Yeah. So the young couple left the church. They lost their faith. The church was Messianic church. They just lost their faith in the church. Jewish kind of type of church. Yeah. They don't go to church. They are not converted. They just don't go to church. But they recognize that we are very good people through this couple. So they began to come to worship with us. The other young man, he is the son of a rich man, Gangnam Seoul. He was preaching, evangelizing on the street. I met him a year ago. Her parents are very strong Buddhists. As parents recognize him to evangelize on the street, parents break his marriage. He was going to be married. And nailed the door, him not able to go out. He was very sad.
Nailed the door, so he couldn't go out.
Can't go out.
Yeah.
So he called me, help me. So he came to our house. Bible study together last summer. He was angry with parents. He couldn't forgive his parents. But he recognized sovereignty of God. Always good in his life. He changed attitude to the parents. Now parents recognize his change. Parents allowed him to be married this year. His desire is to be a member of our church now. The Bible study. Yeah. This man is 10 years older than me. I met him a year ago through evangelism. He and his wife.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Oh, no, sorry, 10 years older than me.
Yeah. You met him where?
Year ago.
1 year ago.
He and his wife are going to be baptized this summer. It will be the first baptism of our congregation. We are very excited. We have not decided whether to go to river or seaside. We are going to have a special baptism service. So Lord is so faithful. It's that I built his church, but he himself building his church. church. It's not that I calling people, but the Lord Himself calling His people. Who? They are the people really need their pastor, shepherd, our Lord Jesus Christ. When I recognized, I began to pray, Lord, I want to be your faithful servant, good instrument. I and my wife devote all our life for His glory. We thank the Lord is calling for people in darkness. Please keep remembering of us. Please pray for Korean people. Many people are in depression. 40,000 people every year commit suicide. First rank in the world. Nearly double of these countries. Many people are neglected. Many people are broken families, divorce, hunger for truth, in prison, in darkness, that I recognize that Lord called me, build His church in South Korea. My family, the last one, 2 months ago, was born safely. God's blessing, we have 4 children. My lovely wife, 3 boys, 1 girl. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
John, stay where you are, because we have time for a few questions. Are you happy to take questions?
Asking in Korea, what's the Buddhist percentage? High percentage or Buddhist?
High.
No, how many Buddhist
About
percentage?
about 30 to 40s.
40%.
But half of them are nominal. But Korean very happy to go to temple on the mountain. Culturally, we love Buddhism culture.
Does the Korean government persecute Christian churches?
Generally not, but strictly try to, every church needs to register to the government. That means independent churches cannot stand alone, have to register through organization or denomination. I felt pressure.
Yeah, another church group.
Church group. But we are independent because Christ is the head of the church, not the organizations. So that kind of thing I felt persecution. Secondly is new government friendly with North Korea, communism. That means homosexuality. And the school now began to build gender, male and female, middle, education things. And also, financially, small churches really hard to survive in Korea. Yeah. The government have new policies. We cannot run with building, cars, so that kind of things become more strict. In that sense, we feel pressure and persecution.
Your building is rented then?
Yeah, rent.
The question is, do you have any experience with deaf people there in South Korea?
In Korea, shamefully, deaf people and disabled people, by society, really hard to get out of house. Community, even society not prepared to help them. How to see? Actually, there are many very good questions. I have to approach them. They are actually staying at home all the time. Really hard to approach them. They don't want to appear outside because the people don't get ideas. So we don't have any culturally society no welcome them. Very, very sad, my country. I think you have a very good question. I'm burdened now to approach even who are disabled. Thank you very much. Good questions. Any other questions? I can.
One more.
Do you have any of the hymns being translated into Korean language?
Good question. 30 hymns of a reform hymns. 30 hymns I translated. That's a really good question. I have to work out with young people. Two young people studied USA for 2 or 3 years. They might be qualified people work with me, translations, particularly hymn translations as well. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Command or alt?
He
Heavenly Father, thank you for this hour. It was so wonderful to see how you work in the life of our brother John Choi, how thou hast called him for thy glory.
Amen.
Lord, we thank thee for thy call is so powerful. Thou hast guided him, led him, and thou hast called so many. It doesn't matter whether they were poor, but they are all sinners. We thank thee that the Lord Jesus Christ died for them all. Lord, we thank thee for what thou hast taught us this time. Some of us are not Christian yet. We pray that thou help them to recognize their sins and seek thee. Please, Lord, do not allow them to just listen and shake their heads, but help them, Lord. We pray especially also for this evening, the gospel message. We ask that thou would help all those visitors who are coming with us. Lord, we know that thou art the one who are calling them all. Please give our pastor the strength and help him, Lord, to speak to them from the Bible. We ask all these things in Jesus' name, for his sake and his glory.
Amen.